we'll get started, man. How's life in quarantine? How are you and the family?
Holding up, yet holding on.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, we're not doing too bad.
yeah. There's not. I'm in Canada, and we have sort of the same sort of thing. We're all in lockdown, not allowed
Yeah,
to leave the house or anything. So,
yeah.
uh,
Our governor just ordered a safer at home till the end of May, pretty much now.
huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
we're same boat. Not allowed leaving the house. You can get fined for being in public
Oh,
parks.
you can find.
You get
Oh wow.
fined. Yeah, it's 1,000 Canadian, which I think is like 600 US. So
Oh wow.
yeah, quite a bit. You can't even go for like bike rides and stuff. It's terrible.
What? Like you run outside and nothing like that?
You can go for runs. It's just you're not allowed being close to people. So if you're running within like a group or you're running close to people, you can get fined. If you're going through a public park, like a playground, you get fined.
Man, like or so driving you can't really drive or what?
Yep, you're allowed to drive, but they say you're only allowed to drive if you're going to like superstore or like any
Uh,
sort of grocery store. You can't have more than one person per household in the store. It's crazy.
Gee,
Yeah,
crazy times, man.
it's crazy. How's training going? I saw some videos of you hitting the bag.
Yeah,
Uh,
pretty much just running, hitting the bag, doing what I can. I downloaded a workout app on my phone. I mixed that in with shadow boxing and stuff I could do on my own. Trying to teach my wife how to hold pads.
yeah, yeah. I
Doing what
don't.
I can do, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I do some jujitsu and same sort of thing. Kind of missing that. You can't really roll with your pillow.
Yeah,
It doesn't have the same effect. They don't fight back.
exactly, man. It's hard to do. Yeah, I haven't even really tried to do any jujitsu or I've done like shadow wrestling and stuff, but it's hard to do, man.
Yeah. So first things first, man. I've been a fan for a while. I thought you deserved a shot in a big organization for quite some time. So thanks for taking the time to talk and congrats on signing with Bellator. I feel like it's long overdue.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Really appreciate it.
So you had your big win there back in Hawaii. What was it like in Hawaii? Uh,
Man, it was so freaking great. So awesome. It was like paradise out there, especially coming from the Midwest of the US is like kind of cold and dreary during December. So that was like it was super refreshing, to go out on the beach and be out in shorts and stuff. It was awesome.
I
Just to
had
yeah,
I had Ty Werder on, who I think fought the night before you did. He's
yeah.
from Hawaii, and he was trying to tell me, he's like, "You got to come out, man. It's amazing. It's on my bucket list." So
Yeah,
super
man,
jealous that you got to go.
exactly, man. That was the same way with me. Like I was like I couldn't have asked for a better place to be as far as like the environment. It was so laid back, everything was, it was so cool.
What was the fan? What were the fans like?
The fans were like super not man, the Hawaiians always intrigue me. I fought a couple of Hawaiians so far. I want to say I fought But yeah, two or it's only been two. But I fought actually the guy that I was fighting. I fought his teammate Arnold Bardone, who is Rachel Ostovich's ex husband, and
Oh,
they were. It was like my birthday before the fight, and we were fighting for a title. So the stakes were kind of high, and right before the fight, or no, like before the weigh-ins and stuff, like his whole team came up to me and was like, "Hey, mahalo, brother. Good luck, and happy birthday. I hope you have a great birthday." So like, but then when it came to fight, it's kill, kill, kill with the Hawaiians, and it's like a natural transition for them. So their culture is I love it. It's awesome. And so like I fought like before I fought, going around to some shops and stuff, telling them I was fighting there and I was fighting kind of a hometown guy. Everybody was kind of like okay with it. It was no like hostility. It was more like yeah, we want our boy to win, but we appreciate the Warriors. And even afterwards, I met some people that told me like he was his they were his cousins, And I don't know how many of them were like Hawaii cousins, because everybody says that's my cousin type of thing, or like actual cousins. But I met, it was the funniest one was I met a little kid. He was like waist high, and he looked at me and he was like, hey, you fought my cousin. That was a good fight. You beat him. You beat him. That was a good fight. And he looked at me so stoic and so like he knew what he was talking about. And I was like, hey man, I appreciate that. He felt like an older person, like an older gentleman telling me, hey, good job, young man. That was an awesome job. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, the you think about Hawaiian fighters, guys like Brad Tavares, Yancy Medeiros, Max Holloway, and that fighting mentality has always been instilled in them.
Yeah.
And they fight to fight, which is why I've always liked watching Hawaiian fighters.
Exactly, me too, and that's my same, attitude toward. I can't help but to love, the Hawaiian fighters, the Hawaiian athletes. They come to go, man. It's awesome.
So yeah, how did so you started off, you were an NCAA wrestler
Mm-hmm.
throughout college. And I found like the only, not necessarily hole in your game, but the one area that was lacking, I guess, was your stand up. How did you
Yeah.
find switching to uh training with Duke Rufus and the guys like Showtime Pettis, Sergio Pettis, those guys who have great stand up? How did you find that
I,
transition, and how has it improved your overall game?
I feel like that was what I needed to be with those guys and get and feel those guys and get beat up by those guys and have successes, have failures, and figure out things with the top level strikers, and learn the systems of Duke Rufus. I think that's been detrimental to my game. I wouldn't be where I'm at without that. I wouldn't even be close to where I'm at without that. I think I really needed that uh, to be able to be comfortable on my feet. Um, and the transition was it wasn't tougher than it should have been, if that makes sense. Because when I started as just a wrestler, but I also started under Jens Pover at a so I've been like really blessed with the coaches that I've been able to start fighting with, because I started with Jens Pover when I was an amateur, like before fighting. And then I after I Jens's gym in Kearney, Nebraska shut down, me and Gents went out to Iowa, Davenport, Iowa, where I was able to learn under Pat Miletich and learn under some of those guys, Spencer Fisher, and some of those guys out there, Iowa. And then Pat Miletich, when actually we were looking to trade gyms, or just kind of we felt like we were outgrowing the gym, because a lot of the coaches were kind of traveling, doing their own thing, commentating, doing Wimp to Warrior. So I was looking for somewhere else to train, and Pat Milicich's and Jets suggested the Rufus Sport Camp. So I went
I
out there
think
one time. And then I did a grappling. It was a grappling day, and it was with the amateur team or whatever. And so I was like, I was kind of having my way, and that I was looking for somewhere that was gonna push me or whatever. So I was like having my way, and it was kind of like the same deal, but it was also just grappling. But then my professor Daniel Wanderley, he was like, "Hey, how about me and you go? We go around or whatever." And he like tapped me like 3-4 times in a like a 3-minute go, and I was like, "Man, I've never fucking experienced that. Like, I gotta be back here, if not just to like to get this guy, man, because he was awesome." So I was
it's
hooked after that.
Yeah, it's funny because when I first went to jiu-jitsu, I rolled with a black belt, and he was just taking it like I'm a white belt, so like it was a joke.
Yeah.
But he would go easy on me, so I was like, oh, this isn't so bad, like whatever. And then they gave me a blue belt, so I was expecting to be able to hold my own. The blue
Yeah.
belt didn't care, and he just got
The
tapped
bluebell,
like
yeah, it's got less respect for you. You know, really.
that was terrible. So it was awful. I quit, and then I quit. I was like, I'm done with this sport altogether. And then I went back a year later, and I'm glad I did, because it's a lot of fun, and I find I like rolling with guys better than me, because I find you learn more and you're less likely to get injured because they're not spazzy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's how I feel, I was able to progress so fast. Just because the Rufus Sport camp is not like a lot of the camps. It doesn't have like a ton of people, but everybody in there is specialized individual. Everybody, Duke Rufus is the way he runs his gym. He grooms everybody to be elite fighters. And if you don't want to be an elite fighter, if you're not trying to be an elite fighter, this is not the place for you. So.
Yeah, it's a place full of talent. You've got guys like obviously the Pettis brothers, the Barbers, Bilal Muhammad's there. It's a room full of elite warriors.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you have no
Marines
choice but
there.
to come and compete at 100% every time you walk in there.
Yeah, for sure.
So you put together 5 wins in a row now. You're 13-1. Your only loss, I know we don't want, and it's probably not fun to talk about.
Oh no, I love talking about it, man, because it
It's
definitely defines me, and it helped me become the person I am today. So I don't mind talking about that loss because it's tremendous learning experience. It probably could have. I wish it would have happened on a smaller stage, but that's the way the game goes.
Well, there was a lot of stakes, right? Dana White was there and everything,
Yeah.
and it definitely wasn't the performance that
I was looking for at all.
Yeah. Is it?
But that's the thing too about that performance. Just like so like along my career, I was always like, I'm ready for the next step. I'm ready for the next step in my career. But like going through each of my fights, if I didn't have the experience, I wouldn't know it was possible, So now going forward, like going into that fight, you couldn't tell me. I mean, you could have probably told me, there's a chance you could get knocked out or whatever. It was in the back of my head just because I had so many successes in a row that I had almost forgot about it, And it was a good reminder for me. And I just went in there, almost feeling, I prepared hard or whatever, and I felt like the fight was gonna be. I just had to go through the motions, and I got to be there mentally every step of the way, and that was what I learned in that fight.
Is it a little bittersweet because obviously since then he's ranked in the top 15 now. It's got to be a little bittersweet to see like him have so much success in the UFC. He's won 3 straight fights, and I personally think that you are the better fighter.
I do.
I think
I do too.
I think for
it is. Or go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think for a long time, I thought you were the best fighter that wasn't in a major organization.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. So yeah. It's bitter. It's bitter for me. I want him to be successful. I want him to be super successful. Because he beat me. He took advantage of something that I wasn't aware of or I wasn't paying attention to. So I want him to be successful. He seems like everybody I fight. I mean, I don't wish harm on them. I'm never, unless they like, down talk me or my family or do something to me personally. We fighting, it's all in the business. But it's bitter because I do feel like I am the better fighter, and I feel like 9 times out of 10, or given another opportunity, there's no way that's gonna happen. There's no way he's gonna dominate me in any other aspects of the sport. But it is what it is, and that's why we play this game. If everybody that was supposed to win would win, it wouldn't be as exciting as it is. But to see him in the top 15, I say it's bittersweet because I know, hey, I should beat him. If I'm at my best, he's at his best. I should beat him. So I'm among that elite in a regard because I didn't beat him. But I can compete with the top in the division. I can be a great fighter. So it's bittersweet, or it's bitter in the point that I didn't beat him. I didn't get to prove that I'm better than him when we actually got to fight. So that's something that's probably gonna be something annoying to me for a long time. I gotta move forward. I had to address it, and I gotta move forward and just keep continuing until what's the name. I've got to face one other person that beat me, so I'm crossing my fingers that somewhere down the line I'll meet him again. Maybe a cross promotion deal, or maybe on this Fight Island they do some different things. But Yeah.
Yeah, you lost to Demetrius Wilson as an amateur and beat him as a pro. So
Yeah, exactly,
yeah.
exactly. That's the only other guy that I lost to. So hopefully the same. I can do the same again.
Yeah. Well, you think about it, guys. George St. Pierre has losses, right? Daniel Cormier has
Yeah,
losses, and they still
it's
went
natural.
down as some of the best ever, if not the best ever. So,
It's
uh,
natural.
yeah. Um, what's next for you? Obviously, your fight. You were supposed to fight in May,
Yeah, I was supposed to fight May 9th.
and that it's not happening. Bellator got pushed. What's next? Do you have any idea, or do you have any goals? I guess when
So
any
I'm hoping
timeline.
and that's why I'm trying to stay in shape and doing as much as I can do. I'm allowed to do. Because I want to get back in there as soon as things open back up, you know. But I want to be smart about it, and I appreciate the Bellator higher ups for being smart about the situation. But I'm also a fighter, and I would like to get in there and fight. You know, I'm tired of sitting here twiddling my thumbs playing Fortnite. It gets old after a week. So yeah, I would like to get in there and fight again. Hopefully with that same matchup, or if I have a new matchup, it's all the same. But yeah, as soon as, and I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know if they're gonna keep like same fight cards that were going on and just pretend they were postponed to a later date, or they're gonna make whole new fight cards and try to add those old fighters to the. I have no idea how it's gonna work, but I'm sure time will tell, and I'll the only thing I can control is being ready. So I'm gonna try to be as ready as I can when the world opens back up, I
Yeah.
guess.
What you've mainly fought, I'm pretty sure your entire career was fought in the US. Are you open to competing abroad or
Yeah, I'm very open to competing abroad. Yeah, I've never fought overseas yet. I competed wrestling. I wrestled overseas in Turkey and Bulgaria, but yeah, I've never fought overseas. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I'd love to fight overseas somewhere.
so if you got a call and
Yeah,
James Gallagher
my
or
original contract for Bellator was supposed to be in Japan. Uh I think it was either, I think it might have been December 29th or something, like a New Year's show, or it was the Rising
oh, the
versus
crossover one. Yeah.
yeah, the crossover one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that fell through, or yeah, it didn't go through or whatever, and then they gave me the Hawaii card, and I was like, okay, yeah, okay. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it at all.
Um yeah, so do you have a if you got a call and said, "Hey, like, going to Dublin, James Gallagher,"
Hey,
or
I call I you know, and I feel like these are probably long shots for me now as far as me in the Bellator organization. I should probably fight my way through the ranks. But before I was in, I called out the Gallagher guy. I called out the Patchy Mix guy, just because I felt like they'd be good fights for me. The Gallagher guy, actually, he's getting better. I believe he's getting better.
he's
Yeah,
a
so
big
I feel
name.
like yeah, it'll be a good name. The Gallagher guy is more of a name, just a name on the mantle, But everybody, wants that fight. But the Patchy Mix, I feel like he's a solid competitor. Who's that? The Higo guy. There's a lot of good guys. Who the other name I was thinking? Oh, the Juan Archuleta kid. Yeah, I'd love to fight any of those guys if I given a chance.
How many fights away from a title do you think you are?
Man,
Two, three?
I think I can. Depending on my performance, I feel like I'm probably like 2 or 3.
Is that the
Legitimately.
ultimate goal there, the Bellator title?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I came in this organization. You know, my goal is to be a great. So I have to get a belt. I have to get a belt to do that. I have to get a belt to not only change my family's lives, just to um, solidify that this was the right career choice for me, and you know, um, I set very high standards. I feel like if you reach for the what is that? If you reach for the stars, land on the moon, reach on the
Yeah.
moon, land for the stars, something like that. But ever since I started sports, I've always, if you're not gonna do it to be the best, then you might as well sit down and let somebody else do it. So that's my mindset.
All right. There's not much to talk about, I guess, in terms of fights going on
Hmm.
right now, but there is one rumored event.
Yeah,
Potentially, who knows where? Don't know if it's actually happening. Don't know who's fighting.
yeah, they can't talk about it. It's like Fight Club. They can't talk about it
But
because it might
there
get
is,
broken up.
but there is one fight that is sounds like it's happening. Justin and Tony.
Yeah,
Your thoughts and predictions if that were to go through, right? It was originally Tony Khabib, and then now it's Tony Gaethje, which I actually like that fight more personally.
I man, I don't like that fight more, but I like that fight a lot. I like that. That's man. Tony is a madman, but Gaethje is a freaking Terminator. Um, Gaethje, everybody says he does stuff wrong, but he does a lot of stuff right, and he's determined in putting people's lights out. And man, that's a tough fight too. You know, I feel like Tony is more dangerous on the ground, like if it goes to the ground, top or bottom. Um, but I can't say that I've seen much of
Gaethje's wrestling.
Gaethje's. I can't say I've seen much of Gaethje on the ground just because. I mean, he's hard to keep down. I've seen that, and he's very good at defending takedowns. So
And he's a high level wrestler, right? He's a
yeah,
college
he is.
wrestler.
He was the D1 All American, I believe.
Yeah, he just chooses not to use it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's not. People say he's not smart, but he does what he does very well. So, jeez, man. He also sacrifices. I feel like he sacrifices his body a lot, but it gets the job done. And he's all out on what he's doing. So
He's only lost 2 fights, so no shame in that.
exactly. No, he's awesome.
Yeah, and
He's
then
awesome. He's so awesome to watch.
all right,
Probably the
and then
best fighter on the roster to watch.
oh, for sure, yeah, easily. And now we'll drop down to your weight class, Henry Cejudo, Dominic Cruz,
Yeah.
which looks like that's happening. What are your thoughts on that? And what are your thoughts on Henry? I guess overall.
Everybody, I was saying the same thing. He's just a cringe freaking machine. But he brings a lot of attention to the divisions, and he seems to be getting crazy and crazier, but it also seems to be working for him. So you can't knock nobody if they're winning. They're going out and doing what
Yep.
they say they're gonna do. Even if they're crazy. I mean, most pioneers were considered crazy before they,
Tito Ortiz for a long time was.
you,
Yeah.
you know, maybe that's what it takes. You just got to be a little. I mean, everybody's a little crazy. You just got to be crazy to get results. What I think about that fight, I don't think Dominic Cruz is if he could be healthy, his cardio would be the only thing I'll be worried about for Henry Cejudo. Only thing I'll be worried about is how his cardio stacks up to Dominic Cruz, because that's what Dominic Cruz is. He's a cardio machine. He's a numbers machine, and but I feel like Cejudo is much more dangerous. So I give it to Cejudo.
Okay, and then we'll end on some non-MMA content. What are you doing in quarantine? What shows are you watching? What games are you playing? You mentioned Fortnite.
Yeah, I've been actually very productive during this quarantine. I've been getting a lot of stuff done. So I read this book. What's the book? The Money Makeover. I read this book. Okay. So then I seen my manager post something about stocks. So I got into stocks with this app, Robinhood. If anybody want a free stock, holla at your boy. I got you. What else I've been doing? I got this little series on YouTube, Rauf the Builder. I build stuff, so I was able to build a gardening table during this quarantine. I hooked up my basement with a bag. What else? I've been watching, of course, Tiger King and
I gotta watch that new episode.
Oh, you ain't Oh man, it's good. It's good.
I watched the
good
show.
info.
I didn't watch the last episode.
The new episode that came out later.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
Yeah, it's a good episode. You'll like it. It's good. What else I've been doing? I'm thinking about redoing my closet, doing a Ralph the Builder on that. I've been doing a lot of stuff, man.
All right,
Doing a lot of
nice.
reading. Actually, this is probably the most I've read in my life, even through college. Because college, I just read the Spark Notes, or I read enough information that I could get the test done. I
That's
scroll through the bullet points, but I actually like read a book, and yeah, I might order another book. So
Yeah, I gotta do that too. I have a book. I bought a book and then just haven't opened it yet. So I'm not much of a reader, but I feel like I have no choice but to.
you
So.
got no choice. You got no choice. I know. I got a son too, so that takes up a lot of my time. I mean, it's cool to to hang out with him. But yeah, that's what I feel like I've been very oh, I also fixed my washing machine. So
That
I'm out
works,
here,
man.
man.
Yeah, I have to fix my dryer. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hey, send me what's wrong with it. Maybe I can send you some.
I have no idea. It doesn't work at all. I plug it in, it works for 2 seconds, and then stops working. So.
Oh man, you got YouTube it probably. That's what I did.
All right, man. Appreciate you taking the time, and best of luck. Hopefully, you're in there sooner rather than later.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for the interview, man. It was a good waste of time. It was fun.
All right, man. Stay safe out there. Keep washing your hands, and don't get infected.
Not to get infected. Don't get affected on 3. All right.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, man. You too.